Hello everyone, and welcome to the Capsule Cast, Week 7 of the 2024 season. I am your host, Xmat. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Fathappy.
Hello. Today it is just the two of us.
It is, yeah, no guests unfortunately, but we hope that you enjoy our company as we go through all the matches. And you want to get right into it?
Let's just roll on right into it, into the first match.
Okay, perfect. So, match number 1, we have Cinema against Rugrats. And to start the match, we had Fasha up against Rayleigh, a bit of a powerhouse meeting between the former Valkyrie members. And I just want to say this match was a very good match. Quite back and forth, sort of till near the end, when Janemba started to get a foothold, when he went up against Kid Trunks and Oob. He went down eventually, but it left clean up for Vegito to wrap up things against Oob. In fact, I think it was Kid Trunks in the end, rather, that he finished off.
I think so.
But it was the two of them anyway. And yeah, it was, like I say, a very good match. I think it was still within 25,000-30,000 by the end of the match. But yeah, any thoughts on the match, Fathappy?
I thought it was a good match as well. Like it's not the kind of match where there was like one side that absolutely stomped the other through like an elite performance or anything. It was just back and forth where Cinema just gradually got more and more of a lead for the most part. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's any big negatives or like things to say about any particular performance this match. Can go look at the stats real quick, see if there's someone who really underperformed.
Cell Jr. I think did really bad, and Garlic didn't do brilliant, but
yeah, Garlic didn't do that well, and then Cell Jr. did 15k, so maybe saying that there was no real underperformance was a bit of an understatement. But
yeah, I feel like
happens.
What a big part of this match was Rayleigh did what Rayleigh kind of needed to do, because Rayleigh and Fasha went even, which you kind of expect with both how strong both are. I think Kid Trunks did okay. Same with Oob. I don't think they were brilliant, but they still held their own. It was mainly Cell Jr. just getting ruffled by I think it was mainly the last bar of Fasha where she did about 20,000 to him. Which was a bit of a
It was like what's it called? Cell Jr. came in against like 2 bars of Fasha, I think, where Fasha somehow managed to out damage Cell Jr. where she tagged at the very end, and then Garlic came in and just ulted him right away after a health pushback. Health pushback into getting ulted. Can't really fault Cell Jr. too much for that one, I think.
It's unfortunate. It's one of those things. It can happen. There's not much that can be done about it. Cause as soon as he's done the health pushback, he didn't really have the time to dodge or anything. Or as Piccolo would say, dodge. But he didn't do it. So
excellent.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, it was a good overall performance from Cinema. With Rugrats, I probably wouldn't be too upset. Having Goten out is always a big sort of loss. I think
true.
Maybe they need to move some things around with Cell Jr. Because, I mean, even if he did 30,000, if he doubled his damage, if he did 30k, which is what he was doing a lot of last season, I think, then the match is a lot different because. I think Cinema only won by about 25,000-30,000, so the match would be even closer. So
Cell Jr.'s average this season has not been very good, only like slightly under 30k. But worse is probably just the fact that Aurelia is like a 50k character this season, but she also did not perform very well this week. So
yeah, the Fasha Rayleigh matchup maybe didn't go 100% to plan, but also at the same time, I'm not 100% sure what matchup would have worked for Rugrats if they did change it round. But yeah, that's for something for them to consider. What I would say is, congratulations, Cinema. Commiserations, Rugrats, but there's still a lot to play for the remainder of. Well, we've still got half the season left, over half. So,
of course.
Are we ready to get moving on to match number 2?
I think so. Let's move on.
Cool. Alright, match number 2 was Resurrected Warriors versus my team Cold. It was a divisional match, so that added weight to
I assume you have plenty to say about this match of yours.
Oh yes, I have loads to say, loads. First off, Frieza started against Marjube, and Marjube had an Ultra Ego boost, which I think we've explained it before, but basically it's all of the stat boosts, like Serious, Indignation, all on in one, basically. So Marjube had that, it was 6 Zenny. We spent 3 Zenny on a boost on Cooler, which I'll talk about later on key control. But yeah, so we started off with Frieza against Marjube. I think surprised a lot of people because Frieza actually did win. And not only did he win, but he used his transformations to his advantage to, you know, stay in the fight. And he did an extra bar to Vegeta before going down. And then it's a lot of back and forth between Cooler coming in, doing an ult, not doing much more, getting beaten down by like Roshi and Vegeta, but tagging, and basically the story of the match is kind of a bit similar to the rest of the season for us, and it's a lot of tagging. Cooler tagged a lot, Mecha Frieza tagged, and ults were thrown.
I mean, Team Cold and tagging are like synonymous.
Pretty much, yeah. As much as your team, actually, I would say has been synonymous with tagging in the past.
I mean,
I think
as far as I can tell, this season, Team Cold is by far the team with the most tags, at like 19 tags this season.
Ooh. Do you want to know why that is, though?
Yajirobe.
Yeah, I have 3 Yajirobe. In fact, no, that's a lie. No, it is the truth. Yeah, it's the truth. 3 Yajirobe. Yeah. I wanted to say 4 there, but it is 3. It's 3. So
you have a solid 11 more tags than my team for, you know, comparison.
Oh, okay. I know last season, for a fact, you were the
That's fair. That's fair.
So,
but back to your match.
Yes. So it was a lot of tags. I know for a fact that on our team there were 4 ults thrown actually, because Frieza threw an ult, Mecha Frieza threw 1, and Cooler threw 2. And then on Res, they also threw out. I think they threw out. Did Vegeta ult? No, he didn't, did he? So they threw out. Roshi ulted. I know that because he wrote.
Yeah, Roshi did an electric surprise or whatever it's called. I believe it was another Vegeta in another match that did it.
That's why. So. That's where the confusion came in. Yeah. So there was in total though there was 5 ults this match, which is pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, it was an entertaining match because even to the last, even though we had 2 characters left, it was still within 30,000, and that's only because Mecha Frieza would have healed back up to yellow most likely, a full yellow bar if he had to come back in.
Yeah.
So it was a good match. And RW, they're a very strong team. I'm kind of surprised they didn't have 18 in, to be honest, because it was a divisional. So,
I was gonna say the same. It's kind of surprising that they didn't bring their like quote unquote strongest lineup.
Yeah.
To the divisional, but they did spend 6 Zenny on a like mega boost. It just didn't pan out.
Yeah. It to be honest. When I saw that Marjube was starting, I was a bit worried for Frieza, but especially with that Ultra Ego, because I mean he already has attack too. He literally had all of the damage potential.
Oh yeah.
So I think maybe just they got unlucky. I think if we had started, we were considering starting Zarbon. If we'd have started Zarbon, I think he would have probably melted Zarbon. But yeah, I enjoyed the match. Have you got any other thoughts on the match?
Not in particular, other than the fact that they didn't bring their strongest lineup. It was a fairly good match, as you said. It was fairly even at the end. There was, when it came down to just Yajirobe, it was more or less even in health. Just where you had 2.5 bars of Mecha Frieza with 1 bar of Cooler in the back. So there was a point when it came down to their last character where it was even in health. It's just Yajirobe did not, outperform the Friezas, the Cold family.
He had to deal with the tag and savior advantage because both of them had savior. It was going to be hard, but yeah, Yajirobe definitely scared me. He put up a good fight. So yeah, are we ready to get moving on to match number 3?
Number 3, let's go.
Hybrids versus Budokai. Now, to start the match, we had Future Gohan going up against early Goku. And my memory's a little bit hazy on this, but I seem to remember early Goku putting up a decent fight against Future Gohan because last week, obviously, I went against Hybrids, and I remember Future Gohan tore through my team, but I remember in this match, I don't think he did anywhere near as good. And the talking point I remember Raditz did really well. I'm pretty sure he did near 90k.
Oh yeah, this was one of the matches this was a lopsided match because early Goku did 80k and Raditz did 95k.
That's right, yeah, because
this was one of the lopsided ones.
But if I remember rightly, didn't all 3 characters still had to come out because near the end, even though Raditz he did 95k, he almost finished off the rest of Hybrids, but then was it early Piccolo or Nam? One of them had to come back.
It was
out.
Nam.
It was Nam.
Well, I believe that was the first time Nam came out. Basically, it had been early Goku and Raditz just tag teaming the entirety of Hybrids. And then at the very end, Raditz died, and Nam came out throughout 1v2 in the match.
That was it, because I knew someone's stats got annihilated. It was Nam's then. I couldn't remember if it was Nam's or early Piccolo, but one of them came back in and they got annihilated because.
Nam dealt 12k, but honestly, he didn't have much to do.
He didn't have no room to maneuver, bro.
In the Hybrids, I say defense. Okay, so Saiyaman dealt 2k.
Oh.
So Saiyaman did not have a very good week. But Teen, at the very least, even though, I'm still not sure what the logic behind starting him in base form is, or starting him in Super Saiyan 1. But he did do a solid 51k, and he was trying his best. He was throwing out the B2s, charging up, doing the stuff he needed. So
Teen was not the issue. Saiyaman doing 2k. I mean,
Saiyaman was basically not a character.
Yeah, I can't even. What do we call that award again? It's been so long since I've had to remember the zero. The no damage award. But he almost had
dunce?
Dunce, yeah, it is. Yeah, the dunce. He was almost a dunce. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's not a good look. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Not really. Not considering, who would have been in his spot if. But I say.
Can we talk about the fact that I think in any other season, if you had told me that Raditz and early Goku were near elite top performers on their team, I would have thought you were kind of crazy.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? It literally is I think BT2 is the scenario. It's Fateful Brothers. Raditz and Goku against the world, bro. It's crazy. It is. I would never have thought it. It is. I mean, early Goku, if you told me that after, I think it was the 21 season where he was on RW, I would have believed you because he was really good. But Raditz, that is the biggest surprise for me because Raditz has popped up as an FA for a few teams in the past few seasons, and he's always been okay, like 30k to 40 sort of area, but to do 95k for Raditz, I mean, it's the only sad thing is he didn't do the extra 5k and get an elite, because that would have been crazy.
Oh yeah.
But
I've always assumed that Raditz should, in theory, be an excellent character because his beat, like, his rush B2 isn't the best, but it's still like fine. And then he has, you know, like an orb and then another orb for an ultimate, and he has a max power mode B1. Like he's got a solid kit.
And he has Saiyan Soul as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So
Saiyan Soul and max power mode B1.
His B1's good. His B2s are mostly good. So you would expect him to be like a 40 to 45k character at least. But yeah, it's weird. Raditz, he's had some issues over the years. He has some haters in the Discord as well, so he's proved them wrong
I quite
this
like
week.
him.
I like Raditz, yeah. I think he has potential as a character, as he's shown here.
So props to Raditz, props to Early Goku, and I don't know, a lonely tombstone for Saiyan Man.
Yeah, poor Saiyan Man.
Poor Saiyan
Man. Yeah, but congratulations, Budokai. Commiserations, Hybrids, and yeah, you ready to get moving on to match number 4?
Let's move on to an interesting match as well.
A very interesting match. Okay, so before I even get into who started and whatever, the first thing I have to mention is Nuova for Namek. He had his Super Plus 1 randomized off because there was 2 Super 1s basically in their builds. So now I've got that out of the way. The match started with Nail up against Imperfect Cell. And Nail was the one running the other Super Plus 1. But basically, to get into the crux of things, Cell went crazy. He went absolutely grab crazy. He obviously went up against Nail initially. I'm not sure on the order of things, but I know that he went up against Nuova, and he's just shut Nuova down because Nuova was built to spam B2s. I think he may have threw out 2 and hit with 1 off the top.
I think he either threw out 1 or 2 B2s. I know he hit 1 B2 at the very least.
Yeah, he hit 1. So the thing to say for Namek is at least the Super 1 wasn't too much of a downside that he lost it. It's just unfortunate that he couldn't replicate any damage in melee or do anything. He just got shut down. He couldn't. He wasn't able to do much.
What is crazy is that Cell did like he beat Nail, but he beat Nail by actually landing an ult as well.
Oh yeah,
like
we
a
saw
Drain
that.
Life Cell.
Yeah.
And then he had like a bar of life left against Piccolo, who came out afterwards, and then he tagged. And then he went absolutely nuts later against Nuova with like a bar of health.
Yeah.
So.
That's another thing I was going to mention. Late Piccolo was back on the scene this week because I remember during this fight, after the Nail fight, a lot of people thought, oh, this is going to go south for Namek quick. But Late Piccolo, he really fought hard to bring it back. I think there was a drop-off from King Piccolo this week as well, who I think he has been their best, but it was made up for the fact that Late Piccolo was just like going hard.
So the crazy thing is about their stats is that Late did 74k, King did 52k.
Oh, he still did 52.
But Nail did 20k and Nuova did 19k. So the stats are a metronome.
Yeah.
You have both sides of the spectrum, but there is no middle ground. 2 characters did amazing, and 2 characters ate dirt.
But I think, in terms of Namek this season, Nail and Nuova have been incredibly poor. So the good news is they seem to have found something to fix up late Piccolo, so that's good. He seems to be working. But yeah, as for GT, Imperfect Cell, obviously we've talked about him. But I mean, the rest of the team, they've all been putting in some good work as well. I mean, I think I need to check the stats, but I think Sin this season is averaging like 45,000. I think so is Super 17.
Honestly, Team GT, basically all of them are at 40,000 or slightly above.
Very consistent team.
The lowest average on GT is Imperfect Cell, but they're at 39. But the highest is Super 17 at 49. So everyone is within 10k of each other on GT. And pretty much every character always does exactly their man and a little more, which is pretty much what you want.
And going back to this match, what I do remember now, because I just looked at the stats as well, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta did 55k this week. So from what I remember, both Sin and Super 17 kind of, they felt the wrath of late Piccolo, as it were. But it was Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta that put GT back on track to win the match. Him and Imperfect.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I agree with that. To be fair, in terms of Sin's stats, Sin's was the ender, and Sin did not have that much work to do on King Piccolo because he immediately hit like a savior at Blazing Storm.
Yeah. Oh, right, well, you have any more thoughts on this match?
Other than the fact that we should probably mention that the reason why Nuova got absolutely destroyed by Cell was because he hit so many grabs. Truly so many grabs. I honestly can't remember a match, funnily enough, maybe other than another match later, where I've seen someone hit that many grabs in like one go. It was truly crazy.
If we rewind a little bit earlier, Zarbon against Roshi.
No, but that's what I was thinking of, I think.
Yeah, because he did like 5 in a row. It was crazy. Yeah.
It was truly the week of the grabs.
This is week grab.
Everybody got hands this week.
Everyone was throwing hands. This was WrestleMania at its finest.
Oh yeah.
Nuova did not have much of a shot. He did not have, as a spammer, going against that because he obviously drains health and ki. It was rough.
But unfortunate that they had a boost randomized, or not a boost, but a Patara randomized off, and it was the blue Patara.
Yeah.
But also amazing work from Cell. Maybe this means we'll see Imperfect Cell on androids in the future. Oh, imagine.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Hopefully, though.
I mean, if he can do 80k in just base form,
and he gets an extra transformation for health.
That's true. All right, but should we
get moving on? I think so. I think match 5, your favourite match, Royals against Sentai. It was Deborah starting out against Berta, and the rest I will pass over to you, my friend, because I'm sure that you are dying to talk about this.
Well, yeah, it was Deborah versus Berta, fairly even for the most part to start with, until Deborah got like a solid lead over Berta by the end. Where Jiren then comes in, immediately Colossal Slash, the world ends. We go over to the destroyed map, and then it becomes an incredibly back and forth match where everyone tags multiple times. It's one of the matches where I have a really hard time remembering the order because there were truly so many tags that happened in this match. I think standout performances, though, was just that Zengaya did pretty all right, I think. Most of the match. Zingaya did pretty alright. Babidi did like some really good work as well. In case people didn't know, Babidi is currently a 50k character.
Which means he qualifies for the All-Stars.
Exactly 50k character, week 7, baby. So
crazy.
We love it. But no, it was a really close match with a lot of tags. Towards the end, it was like King Cold and Meta versus what's it called? Zingaya, Jiren, and it was Zingaya, Jiren, and Saiyan Woman on like 1 bar each. Basically, everyone was down to a bar of health while there were 5 characters still alive.
Let me put it to you like this: the only person that did below 35,000 this match was King Cold, and that is across both teams. That's how close this match was. I mean, like, your top performer was Deborah with 55, then Babidi with 50, then Metacooler, and then with 47, and then King Cold 27, and then on their side, Berta did 37.5, Jiren did 61, Saiyan Woman did 42, and Zangai did, as you said, pretty well, 48.
It's one of those matches where truly there was not really any one character that did bad, other than King Cold, who slightly underperformed. But like, pretty much everyone in this match did really well. There was just so many tags, and it was super close by the end.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like you say, Dangai popping off is not something you can always account for or expect. So that was interesting. But I mean, to counterweight that, you have Babidi popping off. So that kind of counterbalances that. I think maybe
Babidi popped off considering he missed 2 different ultimates after multiple grabs. So
yeah,
like it's crazy how Babidi's performances are super good, even though he very rarely hits his ult, which is like super damaging.
when he does hit his ult though, like he tends to do it after he grabs people, and then he does like 25,000 or whatever it was when he did.
I think it was like 21k against, was it Bojack several weeks ago? Something like that.
I think he was running defense as well. That was the craziest part. Yeah.
I mean, the little onion man, he does stuff.
Yeah, he does. And I think that power of rage that, did you say you run power of rage, or is it?
I run power of rage on
usually. That comes in clutch, because I can't remember if he did this match, but he usually gets into clashes and wins them.
Oh, it's because he has double rush B2s.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you'd be crazy not to run power of rage. I would think.
I think it's absolutely insane to have characters that have double rush B2s and not run a Clash Matara on them.
Yeah, because I mean, literally, there's a massive increase to the amount of times that they will clash, because they're gonna launch B2s. Like, every character does, even if they're a melee like oriented AI, or they're still gonna launch B2s, and unless they're at max power, that it's going to be a rush B2, and it can very often characters just rush into those all the time. So running a power of rage at least seems, if not drag power, seems worthy. So yeah. But yeah, it was. I don't know about yourself, if you enjoyed it as much as what you
I enjoyed it.
But it was so close. I think this may have been the closest match of the week, potentially.
I think so. It was down to less than a bar on both sides, where it was like Meta versus Zingaya at the end, as far as I remember. So very, very close match.
All right. Well, do you have any other thoughts, or?
I don't think so. I think I've been over the match quite extensively at this point. Yeah. Congratulations to Sentai. It was a good match.
Yeah, and commiserations, my friend, for I'm sure you did better this week.
Oh, thank you.
It's alright, mate, don't worry.
Don't worry. It is truly commiserations to me, because I am the lone active supporter.
You are, literally. Right. Match number 6 was Buu Saga versus ED. It was the second divisional of the week. It was Spopovich against Krillin, which, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Spopovich did the best on Buu Saga's team. I'm pretty sure that he took Krillin down, from what I remember. But it was what came after that really shell-shocked Buu Saga, and that was Mid Vegeta absolutely just stonking through their team. He was another one that did about 90,000 this week.
Yes.
And yeah, it's crazy because Buu Saga, they put a boost on Kid Buu, closeout special, but he didn't do all that much with it. I think if the second best actually for Buu Saga was Buhan.
Let me just check real quick. The second best on Buu Saga was Gohan Buu at 35.
Yeah, I remember he did
both Majin and Kid below 30.
Yeah, and that's not what you want when you boost. I mean, closeout special is a 6 any boost, so
yeah,
you want them to do minimum like at least 40k when you boost that onto them. So it wasn't a great match for Buu Saga, but you do have to put that down to a massively brilliant performance from Mid Vegeta, because when you look at the stats for everyone else on ED, and everyone came in, Hercule did 28,000, but I think he was the last character, so you can't necessarily, because from what I remember, he did was it 2 B2s to finish the match? I'm sure he did a present bomb.
I actually do not remember. I think so.
I know. I remember a present bomb being thrown. So I'm pretty sure he was the last to come in, and that's.
The match ended with a present bomb. I just checked.
Yeah. I knew my memory is correct. I knew it.
Better than mine.
Mid Goku, he did 34,000. So he did still less. I mean, he hit an ult as well, and that was a big chunk of his damage. But again, it was mainly Mid Vegeta doing a big sort of heavy lift job, and unfortunately for Buu Saga, they couldn't counter it.
Yeah, I mean, this was Mid Vegeta with a close to elite performance, which is it's almost upsetting because Spopovich had more than 2 bars of health left by the time he beat Krillin.
Yeah,
he destroyed Krillin, and then Mid Vegeta comes in and just no. Erase your work.
To be fair, though, you have to, in a sense, you have to give props to ED, because Mid Goku has been the one that's been doing that, whereas now it's they've swapped out. Mid Goku's gone. Nah, I've done enough carrying this season. It's your turn, and Mid Vegeta's come in, and that's what's happened, really. I mean,
well, one thing you can say about both Goku and Vegeta is that they're certainly not mid. Somewhere in the distance, a slow clap.
the prefix for both is inaccurate. They need to be called. What would you call them?
The Goat Goku and I don't know, vegan Vegeta. I don't know. Man's eating healthy.
Goated Goku. Goated Goku. Yes. And yeah.
But you are correct in saying that they are kind of carrying the team, with Tien really underperforming at 29k average. And then, well, I guess Krillin is at 39. And then everyone else, Mid Vegeta is at 48, and then it's all over 50 from there, with Hercule at 50 and Goku at 60. So
yeah,
they're kind of sitting pretty, actually.
ED's unlocked the Hercule of seasons past. I think he's back to being a spammy boy. The present bombs are all flying out, and and he's still doing the Rush B2, but it's mainly just Present Bomb City, population U. So
actually, you won this week, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, you won. Have you had a divisional with ED yet?
No, this is the interesting thing. This is the very interesting thing. I completely forgot about this, but now you've reminded me. You sparked some memory. So, there's a 3-way tie at the moment at the top of North Kai. So
everyone at 5-2 except RW.
Yes. So Cold beat Buu Saga and ED beat Buu Saga. So at the moment, Buu Saga are bottom, but it's basically the next divisional between Cold and ED is gonna be like the divisional, effectively, to seal who wins North Kai. Potentially, obviously, it could be it just doesn't matter, and one team goes on a winning run and they just lose.
Oh yeah, it's still very early. We're only halfway through the season, but yeah.
So, but it could be, and that shapes up obviously in 4 weeks' time, in week 11. So that'll be an interesting one to watch out for. But besides that, have you got any other thoughts on the match?
On this match in particular, I don't think so. I thought it was, it was a bit of a stomp from Vegeta specifically, and Hercule was at almost full health by the time the match ended. It's not really what you want to see or what you expect to see from Buu Saga, because Buu Saga is a historically super strong team, and even looking at their regular stats, this has been a pretty good season for them, honestly, because they have a single character below 40k. Their lowest average character is Majin Buu at 38, and everyone else is above 40. So,
what I would say,
it's a pretty good season for them, honestly.
It has been. It's just unlucky that both their losses have been divisional losses, effectively.
That is true, actually. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just bad luck, I guess, because if you're 5-2 and you've won both divisionals, I guess you feel a bit better about it. But it's still all to play for. Both ED and Cold could go on terrible runs, and Buu Saga could very easily finish top of the division. So, they're a strong enough team to do it. So, but commiserations, Buu Saga. Congratulations, ED. On to match 7. We have
let's move.
Derp versus Kaiju. And we had Frost going up against Kid Goku to start. And when I say this was close fucking start of the match, it was. Like, Kid Goku and Frost were going at it. Like, they were both, like, I think about 5k by the time Kid Goku ends up tagging. And then
it was down to like 1,000 health on Frost by the end, I think.
Oh yeah, it was real close. But Kaiju must have had like the worst dice roll you could ever had. Like, if they were playing D&D, I think they would have rolled like a 1 out of a D20. They lost 3 clashes in a row with no clash boosts on Frost, and with Scout and Vegeta having Savior, which gives it's not a massive boost, but a tiny boost. And the second clash, he did a B2 into it, which normally gives you a bit of a boost as well. So they rolled horrendously on the dice rolls, and they lost 3 clashes in a row.
No, but it's even worse because there were more clashes later with Android 21, and she also won all of her clashes.
Yeah, Derp, I mean, you deserve this look for previous seasons that you've had. Like, you've had, I feel like, I know Fiora would agree with me, with some of the luck that they've had over previous seasons. Like, they've rolled some bad ends of the stick. But that is
true.
That does not stop me feeling sorry for Kaiju, in the sense that, man, to have Scouter come in with 40k and then be reduced to 25 instantly, basically, off clashes which you have no control over who wins. That's gotta feel a bit bad.
Yeah, when it is true that it's one of the only mechanics in the game where it is truly like a dice roll. If what's it called? If you don't have Clash Patara or anything on them.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, the few effects that gave bonuses this match were on Kaiju, and they still lost.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they got unlucky to a certain extent. Obviously, also just really good performances from the characters on Derp.
Oh, very. I mean,
yeah.
Speaking of that, 21. Wow. What a
Oh yeah.
How that was crazy. I mean, she shut down like Slug. I think she even went up against Tao and shut him down. And I think, was she the one that killed Scouter?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she killed She killed Scouter. She got Slug low until he tagged, and then she also did.
A decent chunk,
I don't know. And then did she? No, she tagged as well. And then it was like the Doria versus Tao afterwards. By the way, there was that funny moment in the match where Tao and Dodoria were fighting, where Dodoria did his head breaker or whatever it's called, his ping, effectively, and Tao just rushed into it and won.
Yeah.
Somehow he did like the frame perfect rush B2, so it just like ignored the ping, basically. It's very rare that happens.
Oh yeah, I mean, incredibly so.
Yeah.
I just want to point out as well, just for like on Kaiju's end at the very least. Tao did 66k, Kid Goku did 47, and Scour and Slug both did pretty much the same in like 29.5 and 29,400. So I think on Slug's end that was more of a case of maybe underperformance. On Scouter's end, I think you have to factor in the horrendous luck that he had. But I think that goes to show that like the match was quite close. Especially with the fact that on Derp, the only people that did above 40k were 21 and Frost. Granted, 21 did 78,000, so she did amazing.
21 at 78,000, Frost at 61,000, and Yamcha ended the match.
Yes.
Dodoria, on the other hand, he got kind of destroyed.
Packed up. I mean, we did mention earlier, you said about the Tao hitting the perfect frame, so maybe he got a bit unlucky, but yeah, 18,000, not great, but yeah, man, the rest of the team, they really, really brought their A game. So yeah, do you have any more thoughts, or? Not
really. This was truly just a match of watching Derp getting into clashes and then just being like, they can't keep getting away with it.
They do. Yeah, congratulations, Derp. Commiserations, Kaiju. Yeah, ready to get moving on to
the last
number
match.
8, the final match. So we have Muscle against Androids, and to start we have 16 against Raccoon, the grab masters going at it, and 16, he kind of did what 16 normally does, and he kind of ran away with it.
It's like you say grab masters, plural, but really there was a grab master, and that was 16.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, Raccoon last season was the grab master. He was number 2 in the league. Yeah, number 2.
I think so.
I don't count Gotenks, so number 2. Yeah, so Raccoon, he's also known for his grab. It was the two people known for their grabs, but 16 made sure that Raccoon knew about his grab, and he literally cemented him into the ground with the amount of times he hit the rocket punch.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, 16, he carries away with it. You think, oh, this is probably going to be another one of those Androids match where 16 gets them a lead, and then everyone else, at the very least, just keeps the lead. But no, 13 exists. Broly exists, and I mean, 13 started the ball rolling. He took down 16. He did a big number on Cell.
I will say that Cell's fight against 13 was pretty unfortunate because Cell, for I think the first time this season, landed a Drain Life Cell.
On the character he can't.
Yeah, it did like 1k damage or something.
Yeah.
So fully wasting Savior basically.
It was really, really unfortunate. Of all the times to choose to use that B2 cell, you chose to do it now.
You know it's a rough week when your lowest performing character is semi-perfect cell at 22k.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So 13 started to come back. Bojack came in, and I think he was getting ruffled up by, I think there was a little bit of cell left, which I think Bojack finished off, but he was getting ruffled up by Cyborg Tau. And Broly comes in, and it's Tau and Ginyu are still left alive.
Oh, we should probably be speaking of the fact that they brought in Ginyu.
That is a very good point. 19 has been not very good all season, as I think Android supporters will tell you. Potentially cost them a couple of weeks with, I'm not even sure what his average is, but I think it's around 25k.
No, 19's average was 35k so far.
That's a surprise. Oh no, he did have one good week. I think he had a 60k week at the very start of the season, and then since then he's been doing like 25, and so I think that's part of the reason he's so high on the average. So they brought Ginyu in because 19's just not been doing all that well. This week, unfortunately, not to much avail because Broly they've switched his build up from last week. He's on like a Key 2 build now, and he hasn't got KSA, but he wrecked through Cyborg Tau, who was bringing it back for androids at that point. And yeah, congratulations to Muscle. That's another thing to point out. They got their first win. So
they did get their first win, so honestly, Muscle have had a rough season this time around.
Yeah, they have. But, and I think I've mentioned this to Ryan, as much as 0-6 feels like, or 0-5, yeah, it was 0-6, wasn't it, before this? But yeah, 0-6 feels rough. They're now 1-6. They're now one win behind Androids, Rugrats, Budokai, all these other teams, which I think some of them, because there's that many teams that are 2-5, Muscle keep pace with those teams. They could still actually make it, if that makes sense. I don't know if you get
I know what you mean.
Because
Muscle is at the bottom, but there are 5 teams at 2-5. So they can still make it
very easily. And that's what I tried to explain to Ryan, that even at 0-6, now 1-6, you still have a very good chance, especially with half the season left. We've seen GT do it before, have like a horrible start to a season and then finish 7-8 and make playoffs. So yeah, and the same applies to Androids, who I think actually, as much as they're 2-5, the record is very. They say tables don't lie and like results don't lie and stuff. But I think this is a lie, if that makes sense. Their record is a lie. They are not a 2-5 team because they've benched semi-perfect 3 times. They've benched, I think, 17 now.
Yeah, I was about to mention it. So, the way that they have done their benches, from now on, semi-perfect and 17 are in every week.
And Semi, yeah, he had a bad week this week mainly because of a matchup. Don't expect 22k every week from him. Nowhere near. He's going to be like 45k in a bad week normally for him. And then 17 coming back in, who, for me, I don't know about you, but he's the one that I always look out for all the time.
Oh, yeah.
He is for me, he's the scariest one.
No, I completely agree. I think 17 is the scariest character among the androids.
So
It's like 17 and then Cell usually.
yeah, I agree. And 16 has been their most consistent. So I think for androids, this 2 and 5 is a bit of a blip. There's no need to worry too much. And for Muscle, Muscle, you guys you've won the bowl from positions maybe not quite as bad as this, but you've won the bowl. Like you've won the bowl from positions of like, I don't know, was it 4 and 11 one season or 5?
I think so. It was something absurd.
And they won the bowl. So all I'll say is have faith. I can't remember that song.
I will say Muscles this season has been truly, looking at their averages, their highest at Android 13 at 48k, and then everyone else below 40.
But
so,
Broly coming back in has looked promising.
True.
So hopefully on that front things will change. But yeah, I think we've maybe exhausted all the things about this match. I don't know if you would agree. If you want to get moving on,
I think there's not much else to say.
Oh, nice. Right, let's get moving on to predictions, and obviously we've got the tier list here. But as opposed to talking about the tier list, it's there for people to look at in the background. I think we could talk about the All-Stars and rather who has qualified. So
that is true.
I will very quickly read the list of it's 19 qualified because Gotenks doesn't count. So we have Deborah, Mid Goku, Future Gohan, Jiren, Fasha, Base Frieza, Android 18, Base Adult Gohan, Frost, King Piccolo, Gohan Buu, Android 17, Raditz, Rayleigh, Hercule, Super Saiyan 3 and Goku, Android 16, Base Cooler, and Barbit D. On exactly 50k. So just
the little onion that could.
The little onion that could. Is there any names other than Barbit D that interest you off there? I'm going to instantly pick one out and say Raditz.
Raditz, you know what? That is very interesting. I do have to agree. I like that. What's it called? Frost is up there as like a new introduction to the league.
Yep, he's in the 10th spot, 56k. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say that there's too many characters up here that I'm that surprised by otherwise. It's like Babidi, Raditz, and then obviously Frost because Frost is new. And then it's like most of the characters up here are characters that are known for having 50k performances in other seasons.
Yep.
I think King Piccolo actually is another one.
King Piccolo is quite a big shot because I think he's had a fair few seasons. I mean, he had an elite. I think he's had several elites, but he's never been consistent. Like, he's normally like a 30k character who gets some elites, but then has some 20k weeks, and like he's just all over. But this season, I think he's been really, really good for Namek. Like, definitely, well, clearly by the by where he is in the ranking, their best character. So
yeah,
he's
done excellent. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we've had a little chat about that. Are you ready to get moving on to predictions?
I think so. So first up, Rugrats versus Buu Saga.
Ooh.
It is the small boys versus the gum. It's an interesting one to be sure.
It is.
I think I'll have to give it to Buu Saga. It's like Buu Saga is such a strong team, and they have had a really good season overall, even if last week did not show it. So I think I'll give it to Buu Saga.
I'm going to go both off my own bias because I would obviously want Buu Saga to lose it, but also, a little bit of faith in Rugrats because I'm pretty sure their record against Buu Saga is pretty good, especially like they always seem to use Gotenks against Buu Saga, and he always seems to do well. So I think they're going to use Gotenks, and I think they're going to win. So.
So let me just one thing we can check real quick is just their benches. So yeah, Goten is coming back in. So there's a high likelihood of Gotenks. And the Buu Saga have Evil Buu coming back in, and Evil Buu is their second best.
Yeah, that's true. I'm still giving it to Rugrats. I still have faith.
Alright, so 50-50, one each.
One each, one apiece. Royals versus Budokai. Now...
Well, Royals wins it, easy.
Oh, obviously.
We don't need to put it to a vote. That's just a win.
Have you got any builds?
True, I can talk a little bit about the builds. So we do have a boost, just a very simple light body on Deborah, who's going to be starting.
That's your favorite boost ever.
That is my favorite boost, because if I had space to put light body on Deborah's build, I would. So I'm just boosting it onto him whenever I can. It's how he's ended up at a 60 as the #1 character in the league so far. So, and then the only major change is that what's it called? A meta cooler is out.
Wait a minute. How? I've just realised I don't think you can boost light body onto Deborah.
Yes, you can.
No, because you boosted it on him last week.
That's not a problem. I asked staff.
Okay. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I remember there being a rule about boosting on a character the week. Like you can't boost the same boost onto the next week. Maybe I'm misremembering.
I don't get me wrong. I've had some questions for staff as well about like, is this okay? And apparently it's okay. So
if you've been
I've had confirmation from staff. Like I've specifically because I am a solo team. I've literally been messaging staff every week to like get my builds checked. So just as a safety measure.
It might be an old rule that I'm remembering because
I think it might be.
I think it was changed. Yeah, I think it was changed actually. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's my bad. It was changed. I think it used to be that. Yeah, it used to be the case, but yeah, you're fine. Yeah, so carry on. Sorry, what were you saying?
If you must know, I did make a mistake on my builds initially until I contacted staff, which was that I had light body on everyone. So in case you're wondering what I think about light body.
Me some light body. Yeah.
So, but yes, the only other major change for this week is that Babidi is running Dragon Power instead of Power of Rage.
Oh, is that just to free up Patara for someone else, or is that?
No, that's because there are actually people on Budokai who run Power of Rage, and I know they have run Dragon Power on, I believe, Nam before.
Okay.
So given how much Babidi clashes, I really do not wish to lose clash battles with him. So that's the only like big change so far. Meta cooler out, light body on Deborah, and Babidi has Dragon Power instead of a Power of Rage. Just slightly change his build around it.
Okay. I think that I'll give it to you because Majin Vegeta and Deborah are going to be in. I think that's just like a big like win. Or regardless, when they're in, it's very hard to get over both of them. So I will give it to you, but I think Budokai will give you a fair crack of the whip, especially if I'm not sure who they are going to bench, but if Goku is in, he does break Power Body, so he might be someone to look out for, and I'm sure Budokai...
I mean, and Goku is guaranteed to be in.
Oh, he was at... Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is. Okay, well, unless they double boost bench, right? Or, he hasn't been benched 3 times.
The thing I have noticed is that what's it called, Budokai always start early Goku when they can on like Defense Eternal Life, and I'm pretty sure that's an excellent matchup for Deborah if they keep early Goku in. So
well, from what happened with Frieza against Deborah, who is Frieza basically has Eternal Life without having it. Yeah, it was an excellent matchup for Deborah, so I would agree that it probably is.
The other they only have 2 starters. They have early Goku and early Piccolo. Those are always their starters.
Yeah.
So, and early Piccolo is on an attack build, but with Power of Rage, and Deborah doesn't really care about Power of Rage, honestly.
Well, yeah, he just evil impulses everyone that comes at him.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, okay. So that's 2-0 to Royals, I'm guessing, because I really doubt that you're going to vote against your own team.
I never vote against my own team because I have absolute confidence in my boys. All right.
Fair enough. I concur with that. I think you should always have faith in your boys. Match 3. GT versus Androids. It's back-to-back divisionals this week. So...
this is a very interesting one.
We could see Cell versus Cell.
We could see Cell sucking Cell.
Oh,
it's true.
The suck off. Oh no.
Okay, don't say that.
Wow, don't interpret me wrong, okay?
Oh, as if you
your
didn't
interpretation.
Say misinterpret.
Don't interpret that way.
But all right, so. For androids, we know that 17 and Semi are guaranteed in because they're benches. And for GT, Baby is guaranteed in.
Yeah.
Who is, an excellent character anyways. Interesting.
It's hard to say.
I feel like GT, don't get me wrong, Imperfect just had an amazing week, but I think it's likely that they're gonna bench Imperfect. And simply because he can't really do any sucking against most of the androids.
Yeah.
So I'm almost certain they're going to end up benching Imperfect Cell, who is their worst performer by average, which means that they're going to have their best lineup in. But the same can be said for androids. They are always going to have their best lineup in.
Personally, no knock on GT, but I'm going to go androids because I fear 17 that much. And I also think that as long as androids don't roll into the terrible matchup of Imperfect against Super 17, then he will, I think, do at least 40,000, if not, well, he'll do more than that. I think he'll do 45k. And 16 has been really good for them. Cyborg Tower's been a little bit inconsistent, but he's had matches where he just goes ult after ult after ult. I think it'll be close, but I'm just going to pip it to androids.
I think this is one of the interesting cases where I feel like average-wise and consistency-wise, I think GT is slightly better, but Android 17 specifically is so fucking scary.
Yeah, he is.
I think in this match, Android 17 is by far the strongest single character. I'll give it to androids as well, because 17.
Yeah, he can sway the match. If he doesn't work, then I think GT will almost certainly win. But if he does what 17 can do, yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
2-0 then to androids. On to match 4, we have Derp versus ED.
It's a very interesting one because these are the two teams that had really lopsided weeks this time.
And they have the interesting balance with the loan situation, where obviously Derp have given up Hercule and they've got Yamcha, and ED have Hercule. So it'll be interesting because I think Yamcha's done decently this season. Not as good as Herc, but
his average is 33k.
Yeah, I feel like he's had. I know this might be over exaggerating, but he's had the Margin Vegeta syndrome of he's come in and cleaned up a lot.
I think he's had some cleanup. Yes, I know he did clean up this week because he was the last character.
Yeah. I'm sure he's cleaned up before now as well again.
The situation here with so Salza is guaranteed in for Derp.
Yeah.
And hold on, have we forgotten to mark who was? I think
it's TN.
It's TN
because TN wasn't in this week.
True. So TN's coming in, and TN, I would say historically TN is a very decent character, but this season, I don't know, his performance has left something to be desired. I think they would all agree.
No, yeah, I think everyone would concur with that. Who's ED's FA?
ED's FA is Jace, but Jace hasn't been used yet.
I'm almost wondering whether I don't know whether they do it this match or not, but with how bad Tien's been, if they swap him.
Let me go check if there's anything about that. No, I mean Jace was still DFA this week, but week 8 isn't
It's
swap
not,
week, is it?
but they can pay Zenny to swap him though.
That's true.
If they,
I would be tempted to do it if I were them. So
it's an idea, but I think I'm gonna go with Derp.
I'll go Derp as well.
I think they feel ED really good, but for me ED feel like most of the time they've relied on mid Goku. Obviously this past week mid Vegeta. I feel like Derp feels more cohesive to me, but yeah, it could go either way.
It's one of no, you can.
No, you finish what you're gonna say.
Oh, okay, well, thank you. But it's one of those things where I feel like no matter who Derp, like Derp has the option of benching Yamcha, who is, like stats-wise, their worst performer right now. Even if he had some cleanup, the cleanup wouldn't make like a 5 or 7K difference, I don't think so, anyways. Then again, Majin Vegeta.
Yeah.
But on ED, since TN is coming in, they're gonna have to bench either Goku, Vegeta, Krillin, or Hercule. One of them. We're all pretty good characters, but so far, the only ones with 2 benches are Krillin and Hercule. So likelihood is they would have to bench either Goku or Vegeta if they're trying to keep their benches somewhat even, which it seems like they're trying to more or less. So I would expect either a Goku or Vegeta bench, which means that very likely that one of their top performers is out this as well. So, but yeah, I'm gonna say Derp as well. Okay. I think Derp is gonna have a better lineup overall this coming week.
Coming into this match, I completely I agree with who they've got bringing in potentially. Okay, so on to match number 5. We have Cold versus Sentai. I'll give a little rundown on the builds. So you know the meme. It's a bold strategy card. Let's see if it pays off. We're the epitome of that this week. Cause who do you think's going to start for Sentai most likely?
Who's going to start for Sentai? That's actually a hard question that I haven't really thought of.
Who have they got in a big loan this past season? For Tenzeni, who
Ultimate Gohan?
Yeah, I think that's who starts for them most of the time. I know Berta could probably start too, but we've started with Devilman. So the reason that is we don't think Zarbon would do very well against Ultimate Gohan, and we don't think that First One Frieza would either. So we went with a completely left field strategy, and we're starting Devilman. He's running basically what he normally runs, except he's got Fighting Spirit and Rising Fighting Spirit as well. And then Mecha Frieza, we've changed his build a little bit. He's on attack 2 rather than attack 1. And we've given him a latent to compensate. Frieza is running, instead of defense 3, he's running defense +2. He's not running latent, so he's a bit less of a meaty tank, but he's still running. He's basically like a defense spammer. He's defense 2, Savior, Fighting Spirit, Indignation, Launcher Support, because he does a lot of melee, so we want to take that attack bonus off him. And Zarbon's running attack +1, Serious, Latent, Master Throw, Light Body, and Dende's Healing. So a bit more damage for him for if he goes into the throws. Obviously, I'm going to vote for my own team.
How dare you, truly?
How dare I? Yeah, it's ridiculous, really.
Are you saying you have confidence in your own team? How dare you?
How dare you?
Yeah, so Devilman as the starter it's interesting. An Ultimate Gohan guaranteed to come back in. And he would be the starter. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, Interesting. I mean, since it's against you guys, I think Jiren is still gonna be in.
I agree.
I don't think they would ever bench Jiren against your team.
I need to see who. I need to double check again now who they need to bench because Sentai.
The only ones with 2 benches are Videl and Gohan, but Gohan was just benched, so he's guaranteed in.
So it's one of Jiren, Berta, or Sailman, basically, that need to be benched.
Yes.
I anticipate either Sailwoman or Berta would be my guess. Probably Berta.
I think it's more like Sailwoman.
Oh,
But
maybe.
I don't know. They're pretty similar characters. Either way, I think I'm going to give it to you as well. I think Jiren is basically a cold character almost, with the way that he has, giant ball ult and then just like solid B2s on like a Spain build for the most part. So, but you have several Jirens.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah.
So that's how I just give it to go.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright.
I like your faith. Oh, that's very nice of you. So yeah. 2 for cold. Again, close match. I think most of these matches are going to be close this week.
Yeah, no. Sentai has no slouch this season.
100% no. Match 6, Namek versus Kaiju, which I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think is both teams 2 and 5. So one of them will end up with 3 wins after this week. So
Namek and Kaiju, yeah, both are 2 and 5.
So this is actually quite big potentially in the race to make playoffs.
Kaiju have Bardock coming back in, and they have fairly even benches so far. Like everyone has been benched at least once.
Yeah.
And Namekians have Tambourine coming back in, and they also have more or less fairly even benches where everyone has been benched at least once.
I think I'm going to go Kaiju, and that is mainly because I think Kaiju for me, they've got Tao, who has been fairly decent. I know he was good last week. They have Bardock, who is like normally incredible. I don't think he's been as good this season, but he's still like a really strong character. Scouter, Scouter is Scouter. He's not been brilliant, but then this week I would say part of him being as bad as he was with the average is he just got really unlucky. I'd
agree with that.
Slug and Kid Goku are both good characters, so they've got a good team, and I just think that they've got less characters severely underperforming than Namek do, because Nuova and Nail, for me, like one of them is going to be in at least, if not 2, like both of them, and for me they're just bringing the team down quite a lot right now. One of the things that might save Namek is if Late Piccolo repeats his performance again, obviously they still have a very good chance of winning. But I think I'm going to hedge my bets on Kaiju.
So what I would expect. So I'm first of all, I'm going to give it to Kaiju as well. Mm-hmm. But the main reason is, as you said, most of the characters on Kaiju have been like more consistently performing better than most of the characters on Namek. But very specifically, the lowest performer on Namek is Nail, and Nail has 1 bench left. And their last divisional is against Sentai in like week 14. So I would expect them to save Nail's bench for the match against Sentai.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, that means that Nail is going to be in every week until week 14, which is like not really what you want when he's performing like he is. I mean, there's no way around it. He only has 1 bench left, right? So he's going to be in for that amount of weeks anyways. But I feel like I'm gonna give it to Kaiju just because like Nail is underperforming so much, and I think Bardock and Tambourine are like pretty evenly matched characters in terms of power level, in my own opinion. Maybe Bardock's slightly better than Tambourine in terms of what characters are coming. So I think Kaiju are gonna have a better lineup.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So 2-0 to Kaiju. On to match 7, we have Muscle versus RW. My heart says, before I even think about who's actually going to be coming in or whatever, my heart says Muscle because I really would like them to start getting some wins. And also, RW are in my division, so again, bias. But
I mean, my heart says Muscle, my brain says RW.
yeah, that's kind of like where I was going.
Yeah. It's just that Muscle has been underperforming so much with almost all of their characters. Even Android 13 is not even making all-stars this season.
What are the benches like for Muscle actually? Have they benched 13?
Muscle, pretty even benches. Everyone has been benched at least once. Trunks is coming in. Adult Trunks is coming in.
But he's been
is
rough this season, I'm pretty sure.
No, he's their second best at 38k.
That's still rough for him though. Like normally he's up there with like a 50k. He's up there with 13 most of the time, especially because he's not buff Trunks this season, right? He's back to
he's in Super Saiyan.
Yeah, he's back to Super Saiyan, who was like a monster so long.
Yeah. But he is their second best right now.
That's true.
I'm not saying much, but and for Resurrected Warriors, it is 18 that's coming back in. Who is their best performer?
Yeah.
At 58k.
I think I've got to go with RW. As much as I want to go with Muscle, I think the fact that 18, their best character, is coming back in.
Yeah.
One of Marjube and Vegeta might be out, but that still doesn't really matter because the other one is still in. So, Marjube's out, but Vegeta is still in. Like, okay. That's even if one of them gets benched. I'm not sure what RW's benches are like. You say they're even as well?
They're fairly even. Everyone has been benched at least once. The ones that have been benched twice are, 18 was benched week 2 and week 7, and Roshi was benched week 4 and 6.
So it's going to be Roshi and 18 are almost certainly going to be in. It's a case of maybe Yajirobe gets benched, but otherwise it'll be one of Vegeta or Marjube. Yeah, I give it to RW because I just think, especially with Yar's last match, like I'm not 100% sure on what he averaged in the end, but he was bringing it back. He just got unlucky. To be ulted in the face. He got ulted in the face. He is, but he did get ulted like that last match. He was on 30k and then he went down to like dead in 2 seconds. That wasn't on him, I don't think.
Okay, so funnily enough, Yajirobe does have the worst average out of all the characters on Muscle and Resurrected Warriors that are currently in. Because, Grandpa Gohan was replaced with Broly.
That is interesting. I do wonder whether there's been any cleanup, because RW are a 5-2 team. No, they're not. Actually, that's a lie. They're 3 and I forget. It's ED. Yeah. What are RW? They're 3 and. They're 3 and 4.
So confused.
I'm so confused right now.
They're 3 and 4.
Yeah, they're 3 and 4. Yeah, maybe he's had some cleanup, but yeah, that surprises me with Yajirobe actually.
I know. It's one of those things. If they bench Yajirobe, then I definitely Resurrect the Warriors. I think I'm gonna give it to. Like, they have a really high chance of winning if they bench Yajirobe. Even if they don't bench Yajirobe, I think their characters are just performing better than Muscles overall right now. So
yeah. Okay. So that's 2-0 to RW. Onto the final match of the week. We have Cinema versus Hybrids. This is really good in terms of like to end the week on a match like this, because I think this is going to be really close. Cinema at the moment are performing really well. This has been one of their better seasons. Fasha has been really good, back to her like prime sort of level of performances. Janemba popped off really well last week. Well, this week rather. And yeah, Cinema just feel in a solid place right now. Hybrids, they did have the match this week where they kind of got rolled, but it's a bit of an outlier because I believe they're also 5-2.
Both teams are 4-3.
Both are 4-3. Okay, both are winning record teams. I think I'm gonna go with Cinema, just about.
This is a really interesting one because on both teams, the two teams that have had elites are these two teams.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
What's it called? And Gogeta is coming back in this week for Cinema, where once again pretty even benches. Everyone has been benched at least once, so it's up in the air who they're benching. But he is he's coming back in. He has had an elite, and he's their second best performer at 46k.
Yeah.
And on hybrids, it is Adult Gohan who is coming back in, and he is their second best performer also at 57k. And they also have pretty even benches. Where the only other character that's been benched twice is Saiyaman. So, this is an interesting one. I think I'm scared enough of like Adult Gohan to give it to hybrids. I think Adult Gohan is so strong of a character.
Yeah,
it's like if next week comprises Adult Gohan and Future Gohan, then I'm pretty sure hybrids wins it.
But Cinema do have Vegito and Gogeta. I will always refer back to that. That's a strong pairing.
True. I mean, the two highest people on Cinema is Fasha at 58k, and then Gogeta at 46k, and Vegito is on cleanup at 30k.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's been mostly on cleanup. Anyways.
Yeah, I think he has.
I know he's ended a lot of matches at the very least.
Yeah.
But it's a really close one. I think I'll give it to hybrids by like a smidge, but that's almost purely because of the actual averages. But I completely agree that this has been an excellent season for Cinema, and about time as well, because I've always thought that Cinema should have higher records based on like the stats of their team members, where for some reason they just kind of get shafted by RNG a little bit in matches. But yeah,
they've had some rough luck over the years, so I'm happy for them. So that's 1-1 for the final match on our predictions, and now we are at the end of the episode, and I want to thank everyone for watching and getting to this point and hearing us ramble on and on. To be fair, maybe not done that much rambling, so that's been good. But if you guys want to check out the links to the Discord, website, Twitter, and the TikTok, they are in the description below. And while you're down there, if you have any comments for improvement to make the cast better, and as long as it's not have guests, because we tried, but it was a struggle this week. So
I mean, what do you mean? We had guests this week. To say hi, guests, crickets.
Just crickets. I need to remember to add that in the post. Okay.
Of course. Delete my audio and add the crickets at the top.
Exactly. I will definitely remember to do that. 100%.
100%.
100%.
I believe in you.
Yeah, I believe in me too. Not really. But yeah, thank you guys. And I've been your host, Xmat, joined by my excellent co-host, Fathappy.
Been a pleasure, as always.
And yeah, peace out. We will see you all on the next episode.